My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when everything feels quiet, you 2s go up. But the answers seem delayed, your efforts continue, yet the results don't appear, and slowly a thought enters your heart that perhaps you've been forgotten. But understand this clearly, silence is not abandonment, it is preparation, because when Allah is quiet, He is often doing His deepest work in your life. Just like a seed buried beneath the soil appears lifeless from the outside, yet inside, it is growing, strengthening, and preparing to rise. You too may feel hidden, delayed, or stuck, but in reality you are being developed for something greater. Not every delay is a denial. Sometimes Allah withholds because the timing is not right, or because He is preparing you to receive something better than what you asked for. And if everything came instantly, you would not grow, you would not turn back to Him the same way, and you would not appreciate it fully. The hardships you face, the tears, the uncertainty, the heaviness in your chest aren't meaningless. They are shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and aligning your path, because strength is built through struggle and clarity is born from difficulty. Even when you see nothing changing, Allah is working behind the scenes, arranging what you cannot see, closing doors that would harm you and opening paths that will benefit you. And one day you will look back and realize that what didn't work out was actually a protection and a mercy. So hold on even when it is difficult, even when the answers haven't come, because patience is not just waiting, it is trusting that Allah knows exactly what He is doing. And the most beautiful chapters of life often come after the hardest tests. Do not give up now, because you are closer than you think. Your story is still unfolding, and what Allah is preparing for you may be far greater than anything you imagined. Keep making dua, keep trusting, because Allah is never late and He never forgets. And when your moment finally arrives, you will understand why you had to go through everything you did. There are moments in life when everything becomes quiet in a way that unsettles the heart. You make dua, you wait, you hope, but nothing seems to change. The noise of progress fades, the signs you were looking for don't appear, and it feels as though you are standing still while the world moves forward without you. In these moments, it is easy to assume that something is wrong, that perhaps your efforts are not enough or your prayers are not being heard. But this silence is not a sign of abandonment, rather, it is often a sign that something deeper is taking place beyond what your eyes can see. When Allah places you in a season of quiet, it is not to ignore you, but to prepare you. Preparation does not always come with visible movement. In fact, the most important transformations often happen in stillness. Consider how a person grows in strength not during ease, but during resistance. The struggle is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is internal, shaping your patience, your reliance, your understanding. In that quiet phase, your heart is being trained to trust without constant reassurance, to believe without immediate results, and to remain firm even when clarity has not yet arrived. Silence also creates space. When life is noisy, filled with constant activity and immediate responses, it is easy to become distracted and forget your deeper purpose. But when things slow down, when answers are delayed, you are given an opportunity to reconnect, to reflect, and to realign your intentions. It is in these quiet moments that sincerity is tested. Are you still turning to Allah when nothing seems to be changing? Are you still hopeful when the outcome is unknown? This is where true faith develops, not when everything is going your way, but when you choose to trust despite uncertainty. There is also a hidden mercy in this silence. If every dua were answered instantly in the exact way you wanted, you might not be ready for it. You might receive something at the wrong time, in the wrong state, or without the strength to handle it. So Allah, in His wisdom, allows a period of quiet not to withhold from you, but to refine you. During this time, your character is being shaped, your perspective is being corrected, and your heart is being strengthened, so that when the answer comes, you are able to carry it with gratitude and responsibility. It is important to understand that silence does not mean inaction. Just because you do not see immediate results does not mean nothing is happening. There are countless things unfolding beyond your awareness, circumstances aligning, obstacles being removed, paths being prepared. What feels like a pause to you is actually a process in motion, guided by perfect knowledge and timing. You may not see it now, but one day when things begin to fall into place, you will realize that every moment of silence had a purpose. So instead of fearing the quiet, learn to embrace it. Let it become a time of growth rather than doubt. Continue your efforts, maintain your connection with Allah, and trust that this phase is not empty, it is full of meaning, even if you cannot yet understand it. The silence you are experiencing is not the end of your story, it is the foundation of what is yet to come, a preparation for something greater than you can currently imagine. There are times when you ask for something sincerely, repeatedly, with hope in your heart, yet the answer does not come when you expect it. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and you begin to wonder whether your dua has been declined. It is in these moments that the heart can become restless, even discouraged. But what you must understand is that a delay is not the same as a denial. Just because something has not arrived yet does not mean it is not written for you. It may simply mean that the timing is not right, and the one who controls timing knows what you do not. Human beings are naturally impatient. We see what we want and we want it now. We measure goodness by speed and assume that quick results are always better. But life has shown us again and again that not everything that comes quickly is good for us, and not everything that takes time is harmful. Sometimes what you are asking for requires a version of you that does not yet exist. It requires more maturity, more strength, more understanding, or even a different mindset. So Allah in His wisdom allows a delay not to deprive you but to prepare you. Think about how many times in your life you wanted something so badly, and when it didn't happen you felt disappointed. But later on, with more clarity, you realize that if it had happened at that time, it would not have been right for you. Either you were not ready, or the situation would not have benefited you the way you thought it would. That is the nature of limited human understanding. We see a small part of the picture, while Allah sees it in its entirety. What you call a delay may actually be protection, or it may be a redirection towards something far better. There is also wisdom in being made to wait. Waiting builds patience, and patience is not just about enduring. It is about developing trust. It teaches you to rely on Allah beyond immediate outcomes. It shifts your focus from the result to the relationship. When you continue to make dua even after delays, your connection with Allah becomes stronger and more sincere. You begin to understand that dua is not only about receiving, it is also about being heard, about turning back, about acknowledging your dependence on Him. Delays also help you appreciate what is to come. When something arrives after a long period of waiting, it carries a different value. You recognize it as a blessing more deeply, and you are less likely to take it for granted. Instant results often lead to careless appreciation, but delayed outcomes come with gratitude and awareness. You begin to see the journey that led you there, and you understand that every moment of waiting had a role in shaping that outcome. It is important to remind yourself that Allah is never late. Time, as you understand it, does not limit Him. What feels late to you is perfectly on time in His plan. Your life is not unfolding randomly, it is unfolding precisely. Every delay is measured, every pause is intentional, and every outcome is placed exactly where it is meant to be. Trusting this requires a shift in perspective from focusing on when something will happen to believing that whenever it happens, it will be right. So do not let delays shake your faith or weaken your hope. Continue to ask, continue to strive, and continue to trust. What is meant for you will not miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. The delay you are experiencing right now may be the very thing that ensures you receive something better, something more suitable, something that aligns perfectly with who you are meant to become. Hardship is something no one actively seeks, yet it is something everyone inevitably faces. It arrives in different forms: loss, disappointment, uncertainty, failure, and when it comes, it often feels heavy and confusing. You may find yourself asking why things had to unfold this way, why the path became so difficult when you were trying your best to move forward. But what feels like a setback is often a form of shaping, a process through which you are being prepared for something greater than your current situation. When life is easy, there is very little that pushes you to grow beyond your comfort. Ease can make you complacent, keeping you within familiar limits. But hardship stretches you. It forces you to think differently, to act differently, and to discover strengths within yourself that you didn't know existed. The patience you develop during difficulty is not the same as the patience you speak about in comfort. The strength you gain from enduring pain is not the same as the confidence you feel when everything is going well. Hardship builds depth in your character, and that depth becomes essential for what lies ahead. There is also a purification that takes place through hardship. It has a way of clearing distractions and revealing what truly matters. Things that once seemed important may lose their weight while your connection with Allah becomes more central. In moments of difficulty, your du'as become more sincere, your reliance becomes more genuine, and your awareness of your own limitations becomes clearer. This shift is not accidental, it is part of your growth. You are being guided to a place where your foundation is stronger, where your dependence is correctly placed, and where your priorities are aligned with what truly benefits you. Hardships also teach you lessons that cannot be learned any other way. You may read about patience, hear about resilience, or understand the concept of trust, but until you are placed in a situation that requires these qualities, they remain theoretical. It is through real experiences that these traits become part of who you are. Each challenge you face carries within it a lesson, sometimes about yourself, sometimes about others, and often about your relationship with Allah. These lessons stay with you, shaping how you respond to future situations and preparing you for responsibilities you may not yet be aware of. Another important aspect of hardship is that it humbles you. It reminds you that you are not in control of everything, that despite your plans and efforts, there is a greater plan at work. This realization is not meant to discourage you, but to ground you. It brings balance between striving and trusting, between taking action and accepting outcomes. Through hardship, you learn to do your best while recognizing that the results are in Allah's hands. This balance is essential for navigating life with both determination and peace. It is also worth reflecting on how often growth comes after difficulty. When you look back at your life, the moments that changed you the most were likely not the easiest ones. They were the times that challenged you, pushed you, and even broke you in some way, but in that breaking, something new was built. A stronger mindset, a deeper faith, a clearer understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. These transformations are not random. They are part of a process that prepares you for what is to come. So when you face hardship, try to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing it only as something negative, consider what it might be building within you. Ask yourself what you are learning, how you are growing, and how this experience might be preparing you for a future you cannot yet see. This does not remove the difficulty, but it gives it meaning. And when hardship has meaning, it becomes easier to endure. You are not being tested without purpose. You are being shaped with precision. Every difficulty carries within it the potential to elevate you, to strengthen you, and to prepare you for a chapter of your life that requires a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. There are times in life when you look around and feel as though nothing is moving. You make effort, you plan, you pray, yet the results seem invisible. Doors remain closed, opportunities don't appear, and the path ahead feels unclear. In these moments, it is easy to believe that nothing is happening. But the reality is often very different. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean progress is not taking place. Allah is always at work, even when everything appears still from your perspective. Human vision is limited. You can only see what is in front of you, what is already unfolded, or what you can reasonably expect based on your understanding. But there is an entire dimension of events, decisions, and outcomes that exist beyond your awareness. Allah, in His complete knowledge, is managing every detail, aligning circumstances, redirecting paths, and arranging outcomes in ways that you cannot yet comprehend. What feels like stagnation to you may actually be a complex process of preparation happening behind the scenes. Think about how many factors must come together for even one opportunity to reach you. People, timing, location, circumstances, and countless unseen elements all need to align. If even one piece is out of place, the outcome may not be right for you. So Allah, in His wisdom, does not rush what requires precision. He allows things to unfold in a way that ensures when something finally reaches you, it comes in the best possible form and at the most suitable time. There is also protection in what you do not see. Sometimes doors remain closed not because you are unworthy or incapable, but because what lies behind that door is not good for you. You may feel disappointed when something doesn't work out, but that very outcome could be saving you from difficulty, regret, or harm that you cannot foresee. Allah's plan is not only about giving, it is also about protecting, guiding, and redirecting. What is kept away from you is just as important as what is given to you. At the same time, Allah is working within you. While external circumstances are being arranged, your internal state is also being shaped. Your patience is being strengthened, your intentions are being refined, and your understanding is being deepened. You may think you are waiting for something to happen outside, but often something important is happening within. This internal development is essential because when the opportunity finally arrives, you will need the right mindset, the right character, and the right level of faith to handle it properly. It is important not to measure progress only by visible results. Sometimes the most meaningful changes are subtle and gradual. A shift in your thinking, an increase in your patience, a stronger connection with Allah. These are all signs that something is happening, even if your external situation appears unchanged. Growth does not always announce itself loudly. Often, it happens quietly, step by step, preparing you for a moment that will eventually make sense of everything that came before it. Trusting that Allah is working behind the scenes requires a certain level of faith, especially when you are in the middle of uncertainty. It means believing that there is a plan even when you cannot see it, and that every delay, every closed door, and every unexpected turn has a purpose. This trust does not mean you stop making effort, rather it means you continue striving while knowing that the outcome is being handled with perfect wisdom. One day what feels confusing now will become clear. You will look back and see how different pieces came together in a way you could never have arranged on your own. The delays will make sense. The rejections will reveal their purpose, and the path that once seemed uncertain will appear perfectly designed. Until then, remind yourself that just because you do not see movement does not mean there is no progress. Allah is always working, always arranging, always guiding, even in the quiet moments when it feels like nothing is happening at all. Patience is often misunderstood as simply waiting for something to happen, but in reality, it is far more active and powerful than that. It is the ability to remain steady when things are uncertain, to continue doing what is right even when results are delayed, and to trust Allah's plan when your own plans are not unfolding the way you expected. It is not passive, it is a quiet strength that keeps you moving forward without losing hope. When patience is combined with trust, it becomes a key that opens doors you could never have forced open on your own. There are moments in life when you feel like giving up, when the weight of waiting becomes too heavy and the uncertainty too overwhelming. You may feel like you've done everything you can, made every effort, and still nothing has changed. In those moments, patience is what holds you together. It prevents you from making decisions out of frustration, from turning away in despair, or from losing faith in the process. It reminds you that just because something hasn't happened yet does not mean it will never happen. Trust plays a crucial role alongside patience. Without trust, patience can feel like a burden. But when you truly believe that Allah is in control, that He knows what you do not, and that His plan is always better than your own, patience becomes easier to carry. It transforms from a struggle into a form of peace. You begin to understand that you are not waiting aimlessly, you are waiting with purpose, knowing that every moment of delay is part of something meaningful. When you practice patience and trust together, you begin to notice a shift in your perspective. Instead of focusing only on what you don't have, you start to appreciate what you do have. Instead of constantly questioning, when you begin to accept whenever it is meant to be. This shift does not remove your goals or desires, but it changes how you approach them. You continue to strive, but with a calmer heart and a clearer mind. There is also a wisdom in how patience prepares you for what you are asking for. If something valuable were given to you too soon without the necessary growth, you might not be able to handle it properly. You might misuse it, lose it, or fail to appreciate it. But when you go through a period of waiting, you develop the maturity, discipline, and awareness needed to receive that blessing in the best way. In this sense, patience is not just about enduring delay, it is about becoming ready. Trusting Allah also means accepting that the outcome may look different from what you originally imagined. Sometimes the door that opens is not the one you were knocking on, but it leads to something better. This is where trust becomes essential, because it allows you to embrace what comes with an open heart, even if it is not what you expected. You begin to realize that Allah's plan is not limited to your vision, it is broader, wiser, and more complete. As you continue on this path of patience and trust, you may start to see small signs of progress, subtle changes, unexpected opportunities, moments of clarity. These are reminders that things are moving even if slowly. They encourage you to keep going, to remain consistent, and to stay connected to Allah through every phase of your journey. Eventually there comes a moment when the door opens, when the answer arrives, or when the situation changes. And when it does, you realize that it came at exactly the right time. You understand why you had to wait, why things unfolded the way they did, and how that period of patience shaped you into someone capable of handling what you receive. The struggle of waiting fades, and in its place comes a sense of gratitude and clarity. Patience and trust are not easy, but they are powerful. They protect your heart from despair, guide your actions with wisdom, and connect you more deeply to Allah. And most importantly, they unlock doors, not just external opportunities, but internal peace, growth, and a stronger relationship with your Creator. There is a pattern in life that many people only recognize when they look back. Some of the most beautiful chapters begin right after the most difficult ones. When you are in the middle of hardship, it is hard to imagine anything good coming out of it. The pain feels too real, the uncertainty too overwhelming, and the future too unclear. You may feel like you are at a breaking point, wondering how much more you can handle. But often it is precisely at this point, when you feel stretched, tested, and exhausted, that something begins to shift. Hard times have a way of stripping away what is unnecessary. They remove distractions, false expectations, and misplaced Arabic alif, Arabic tain, Arabic ta, Arabic mim, Arabic alif, Arabic dal. What remains is something more real, more grounded. You begin to see life differently. Your priorities change, your perspective deepens, and your understanding becomes clearer. This transformation is not always comfortable, but it is essential. It prepares you to step into a new phase of life with a stronger foundation. During ease, it is easy to take things for granted. You may overlook blessings, delay gratitude, or assume that things will always remain the same. But after going through difficulty, even small blessings feel significant. You notice things you once ignored, and you appreciate what you once overlooked. This shift in appreciation adds depth to your happiness. It is no longer superficial or temporary, it becomes rooted in awareness and gratitude. There is also a rebuilding that takes place after hardship. When something breaks, whether it is a plan, a relationship, or an expectation, it creates space for something new to be built. At first, this can feel like loss. You may struggle to accept what has changed or what has been taken away. But over time, you begin to see that the rebuilding process allows for something better, something more aligned with who you are meant to be. What replaces what was lost often carries more meaning, more stability, and more Arabic alif, Arabic lam, Arabic lam, Arabic la, Arabic la than what existed before. Another important aspect of this transition is the strength you carry forward. The person you become after hardship is not the same as the one who entered it. You have more resilience, more patience, and a deeper sense of trust in Allah. You have faced challenges that once seemed impossible, and you have come through them. This strength becomes part of you, influencing how you approach future situations. It gives you confidence not in your ability to control everything, but in your ability to endure and grow. It is also worth noting that the timing of relief often feels surprising. It may come when you least expect it, in ways you did not anticipate. After a long period of difficulty, even a small change can feel like a huge shift. Gradually, things begin to improve. Doors start to open, opportunities appear, and the heaviness you once felt begins to lift. At first, it may not be dramatic, but over time, the difference becomes clear. You move from surviving to living, from struggling to progressing. When you look back at your hardest moments, you may begin to understand why they happened the way they did. What once felt like an obstacle may reveal itself as a turning point. What seemed like an ending may have been the beginning of something far better. This realization does not erase the pain you went through, but it gives it meaning. It shows you that your struggle was not wasted, that every difficulty contributed to where you are now. This is why it is so important not to lose hope during hard times. The chapter you are in right now is not the entire story. Just because you are facing difficulty does not mean that ease will not follow. In fact, very often it is the opposite. The depth of your struggle can be an indication of the magnitude of what is coming next. This does not mean life will become perfect, but it does mean that something better, more meaningful, and more aligned with your growth is on the horizon. So when you are in the middle of your hardest test, remind yourself that this may be the very moment that leads into your greatest chapter. Hold on through the difficulty, trust in Allah's plan, and keep moving forward, even if it is one small step at a time. Because beyond this phase, there may be a version of your life waiting for you that you cannot yet see, but one that will make you understand why you had to go through everything you did. My dear brothers and sisters, when you step back and reflect on everything, you begin to see a powerful truth. Nothing you are going through is random, and nothing you are waiting for is forgotten. The silence you feel is not emptiness. The delays you face are not rejection. The hardships you endure are not meaningless, and the unseen moments are not without purpose. Every part of your journey is being carefully written with wisdom that goes far beyond your understanding. So do not let the quiet break you, and do not let the waiting weaken you. Instead, let it build you. Hold on to patience, hold on to trust, and keep your heart connected to Allah even when you don't have the answers, because the one who placed you in this situation is the same one who will bring you through it, and not just through it, but to something better. There will come a day when everything begins to make sense, when the pieces come together, and when you see clearly why things had to happen the way they did. And on that day, you won't just feel relief, you will feel gratitude. Gratitude for the delays, gratitude for the struggles, and gratitude for the silent moments that shaped you into who you needed to become. So keep going, keep believing, keep making dua. Because your story is still unfolding, and what lies ahead may be far more beautiful than anything you've left behind. Hold on, because Allah is not just writing your story, He is preparing your greatest chapter.